sessions. I've actually just started recording. I don't know if it shows that on your screen or not, but we're just starting to record. All right, the next thing I'm going to do is just share my screen with you. Maybe. There we go. And we'll give it a minute. There it goes. All right, and go back to maybe. Just bear with me. I think here we go. All right. If you can't see my screen, just let me know. All right, so the first thing that I want to do here is to make sure that you have a place where you can save your work. At this point in time, we have OneDrive here at the school. I don't know whether you have that set up on your computer at home or not, but that's where you can save it to your OneDrive here at school or at home, and then as you go travel back and forth, you're able to access it. This computer does not have my OneDrive located on it, and so because I'm in the classroom. So I have brought my USB drive or my flash drive, whatever, thumb drive, whatever you want to call it. I have brought it with me. So as a future office person, medical office person, I need for you to go and actually set up your USB drive. Now, I hope at this point in time in your educational career, you have learned how to manage your files so that they are organized, not just for the sake of being organized, so that when you access your files that you're going to know how and where to get to them. So I'm just going to go through a really quick little lesson here, if you will, on file management to make sure that you have folders set up for all of your classes, okay, that you're taking this semester. Of course, the one that I'm most interested in is this one, but it will help you in your other classes as well. All right, so I have made a file that says BCCC, and then I've made a file that has my initials after it. So this is stuff that is meant entirely just for me, okay, on this particular flash drive. So I'm going to click on BCCC, which is the file that I've set up. And in that, I have listed all of my courses that I'm teaching this semester. All right, so I'm going to go through and show you if you need to run and get a flash drive, or right now you're going to save it on your computer. I don't have a problem with that since we are entirely from home. Or you are entirely from home. I'm not. I want to make sure that if we were to come back to campus, if you're not using your OneDrive, that you have a way to bring your work to campus so that you'll have access to everything. Okay, so, but again, I have all of my classes set up. I would like for you to set all of your classes up on your flash drive or your computer as well. Again, managing your files is a very, very, very important part of being an efficient office worker. All right, so in order to do that, you will find your cursor just in the white space here, and I'm going to create a new file by right-clicking. So when I right-click, I'll get this drop-down box, and I will go to New, and up pops all of these options. I want a new folder. All right, it comes up as new folder, but I'm just going to rename mine Setup, okay, because I'm just showing you how to set up your folders, okay? So you might want to, like I've already got an OST 236, so I might put in OST 236-40 because that's the section that we are in now. And if you'll click the enter button, and then I'll just click out of that, I have a new folder that is set up as OST 236-40. I'm going to open that folder, and I think you should also at this point go ahead and right-click, set up a new folder, and I think you should call that one Chapter 5. And if you've got anything where you've done work in Chapter 5, it should go in that folder. Okay, I'm going to create a new folder. This folder is going to say Chapter 6, and I'm going to click Enter. Now, what I want to do is, knowing the projects that are due for Chapter 6, I'm going to go ahead and set up a folder for each one of those projects. That will keep you from getting confused when it's time to submit a project. So instead of having this long list of all these similarly named projects, if you set up a folder and you put all of the work for that particular project in that folder, you more than likely will not ever enter or submit the incorrect file. I wish I had $1 for every time a student submitted the wrong assignment or the wrong document to an assignment link. I could probably have retired 2 years ago, okay? So, and the thing about it is, I know that not everybody in this class is going for medical office administration, but since most medical records are computerized now, putting someone's medical record in someone else's folder is a huge violation, a HIPAA violation that is punishable by a very large fine, if not jail time. And that even includes if it was an accident. An accident would be a misdemeanor. On purpose would be a felony. And you know that with felonies, you will be unemployed, or you will have a very, very difficult time finding a job. So if you remember your OST 149 class about the HIPAA laws and things of that nature, so I'm just trying to connect it to how important this is, okay? So I'm going to go to Chapter 6. Now I want to set up you're going to need a folder for your student data files. You are going to need a right click and you'll get new and you'll get folder, and then you're going to have a textbook project. Okay, you're going to have a training, right click, new, folder. You're going to have an exam / activity. Oops, I didn't put my slash in there. It may not like my slash. It doesn't. So I'll make that a hyphen. ACTIVITY, spelling helps. And put my M in. Boy, I messed that one up bad. Click Enter. And new folder, project A. Oops, A, not Q. Right click, new folder, project B. Okay, so there you go. That's most everything that you're going to need for Chapter 6. So back on your lineup here, if you could go back to OST 23640, you got a Chapter 5, you've got a Chapter 6. If you in the particular field, you'll right click again, you'll go to new, you'll go to folder, and I would name this one Chapter 7. Okay, now I'll show you a shortcut. Go back to Chapter 6 and open it. Press Control. Let's see if this works. I don't know if it'll work. It should. I've had some trouble this morning in moving files around. So they're all selected. Okay, I let go of the Control button. I will right click, and what I want to do is I want to copy this. So I've copied it. Go back to 23640, click on Chapter 7, right click, go to Paste, and there are those exact same files located there. Wow, they got all mixed up. Project B, they're all in different order, but that's okay. We can deal with that. So now, after you have done a particular project, and you can do that for Chapter 8, Chapter 9, and Chapter 10. Those are our projects for OST 236. So I'll go back in here. I will go to New Folder, Chapter 8. I want to open that. And since the last document I filed was that, I should be able to just go in here, right click, click paste, and there they are again. OST 23640, right click, new, folder, chapter 9, open it, right click, paste, there they are, 23640, right click, new, folder, chapter 10, enter, open, right click, paste, and there they are. So now you actually have all of your folders already set up for the rest of the semester in this class. So now that you know how to do that, you're good to go here. But whatever other classes you have, you need to, I would say, go ahead and set up a folder for the class. And inside of that folder, I would probably set up at the very least one for each chapter, if that's how your instructor has it broken down. I think that's how I do almost all of my courses. So if you're in any more of my courses, you could probably go chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, chapter 4, whatever chapters it is that you are working on. At the very least, we came inside of each chapter and we did a folder for each project. So whatever your instructor provides for your other courses, you need to set that up as well. And you need to, that way you'll always know where you've put it, or you always know where to put it. And then once you put it there and you have to retrieve it, either to continue working on it or to submit it, you'll know exactly which folder to go to. And that will be a time saver for you, as well as make you a more efficient worker. And that will eliminate also some of your mistakes. Okay? If you have questions, now's the time to speak up. I'll do that. I'll give you a bit of time. I know most of your mics are probably muted, but if this gives you an opportunity to ask a verbal question, which is the purpose of our synchronous online sessions, so that you can ask questions in real time. So does anybody have any questions about that? All right. It's also being recorded, so you're welcome to go back and review that as well. I'm going to go back to the what I have already started working on in chapter 6. All right, so I need everybody to answer me. Has everyone been able to get their MindTap code and set up and access your course? If there's anyone who hasn't, speak now, please. Okay, I'm going to take that as everybody is good to go. All right, so the first thing that we need to do here, I've already got things set up. And let's see, you may want to go back to, let me close that down for right now, content and assignments, which I am already there. You will scroll down. There's your 136 refresher. That's actually chapter 5. That is not due until this Thursday, okay? But since that is a review and a refresher, I'm not going through those, through that assignment. But I am going to go ahead and start on module 6 or chapter 6. Using mail merge. And so we're going to go ahead and from each class forward, we're going to be working on the textbook project. So I realized just this morning that I did not have a MindTap activity for the textbook project. So what I did was I went in just this morning. So if you haven't seen this before, this is where we are. And I'm sitting here trying to think, I'm not sure how many of you actually went through 136 with me. I know at least one person did that's in this class, but some of you may have done it in the summer and some of you may have done it with a previous instructor, Mr. Hill, or it could be that you took this at another institution. So either way, but this is how I like to do the textbook projects, and I like to do them together. All right. So with that being said, I'm going to, this is where it is. This is where you're going to need to do your modules. These are the data files that you're going to be using. You can access them here. And what I would do, and I've actually already done this, is as you download these, you need to save them to your student data file folder. You could also save them to your textbook project folder. And that way, you could do it in both places, or you could just do it in one, whichever one that you choose and that it's easiest for you to access. Okay, so I am on page, I don't know whether you can see your book or not. If you can't, you know that you should be able to access that in MindTap. Right here it says Word Module 6 using Mail Merge. So if I click on that, it's loading my content. And up comes, this says Word Module 6, and this is your content. All right, so, and if you click on, every time you click on this section, that is the section that we are currently working on, and I'm going to try to name my recordings based on where we stop. You'll see that. So when I get in there, let's say we get to 6.3, when I get to the end of the recording, I will put, 6.1 through 6.3 in there. But you will go to that particular place. Actually, and here is where your words are, from your project. Here is where you're actually going to be doing the projects from, these little orange dots. I should not have started here. So I'm going to back up. So this is your session 6.1. This is what you're actually going to be doing, okay? And you can increase the size of that if you can't see it, enlarged image, and you can see it better there, all right? And read actually what's going on. So this is part of what your project's going to look like. Let's see. Okay, let's go back over here. I'm getting dizzy. You probably are too. All right, so this is the first part that we're going to work on. What you can do, I think, I'm going to try this. I'm going to minimize it. I'm not going to exit out. I'm just going to minimize my screen. Okay, I'm going to pull up Word because I need a blank Word document. And we'll see if this works. So I'm pulling up a blank Word document. I'm going to go to View. And I want to, it's not giving me the option. But what you can do is you can have, a lot of times I like to do side-by-side viewing, but for some reason it wasn't allowing me to do that. So if you set your tabs up down here, you should be able to navigate between the two pretty easily. Okay, there's that. And then you've got your Word document. Okay. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm starting on this first part, and it says to open the document, and I'm just going to say 6.1, and we want to save it, of course, in our Chapter 6 textbook project main document. So your NP_WD_6_ main document is what we're going to do there. All right, so I want to go back to my Blackboard. Let's see, my file folder. I actually got it in my file folder. So I want to go to my data files. I must have them in my textbook project already. Okay, I do. Here's my textbook project. I've already got it named. Oh, shoot. Y'all caught me. I started the project early. Let's see. Here we go. I've got it in the 23640. So let's start there. Textbook project. They're not there. Oh, well, this did not work out the way I wanted it to. So let me go back here. Let me go back to 236. Go back to Chapter 6. Okay. Hold on, folks. Bear with me. I've got too many places with stuff in it. That's my problem. Okay. So anyway, I've put things in different places so that I like to go through the projects first, sometimes just to make sure everything works properly and that I have remembered from a year ago exactly how to do all of this. And so that's why I do that. So, but you caught me having multiple places where I put things so I can instruct the way I'm supposed to. Okay, so all of that. I want to open this NPWD 6.1. So I'm going to double click on it and up comes the document. All right, now a couple of things that they have for us here that they're telling us to do. What you're going to need to do, first of all, is to go in and save it. So you want to go File, Save As. I'm going to browse, and as I browse, I want to go back and I want to find my BCCC folder and my 236, I'm going to put 40 here. And I'm going to chapter 6 and I'm going to put it in my textbook project. All right, now I got to rename it. Notice I come in front of my .docx because that's the file extension, so it'll know what kind of document it is. I'm going to take out that, and it's your NPWD _6 underscore and then main document, just as they're asking us to do. All right, so we're going to name that your main document and we're going to go save. All right, the next thing they're asking us to do in your instructions is to display your non-printing characters. Mine are already displayed, but in case yours are not, this is how to display. This is your show hide button. So when I click it, you notice all of that goes off. When I click it again, they come back on. These are very helpful in letting you know exactly where paragraphs start and stop. So instead of trying to guess that there are actually 2 paragraphs here, you can see using your paragraph marks. The other thing that we need to do here is to go to the print layout view. So I'm going to go to view. Print layout is already selected. Your ruler needs to be displayed as well, okay? That is in this same ribbon, and there is your ruler up at the top. It doesn't say to have your navigation pane present, but sometimes I like mine in case I need to use it. But if you don't like yours on, unclick that and it will go away. All right, so I like to show the navigation pane. All right, so with that being said, the other thing that we need to do, they want us to increase our zoom to 120%. 2 ways to do that. You can either click zoom in your view and make sure that it says 120%, which it does. So I'm going to say okay. The other way you can do it is the bottom right-hand corner. You've got a plus and a minus. So if you click plus, it's 130%. You go minus, it's back to 120. You can also just move this if you're trying to get to some extremes. Okay, but if you know specifically they're asking you to get to 120, you can click it until you get to 120 as well. So a couple of different ways to do the exact same things. All right, so the next thing we want to do is to insert your date field. I'm just here to tell you, as an office person, this would be one of the greatest things that you will do. Why is that? Because you will, in mail merge, every time you send a new letter, you want to make sure that you send out the appropriate date. Now, having worked in the legal field for a long time and in the medical field, dates are the basis for almost everything. In the medical field, they want to see how long ago it is that maybe you last came to see the doctor about a condition. So when you go back and they're like, oh, well, we haven't seen you for this for a whole year, you must have had some relief. In the legal field, there are deadlines on everything. You know, in 90 days you have to do something, or you cannot bring suit anymore, or whatever. There's always dates are extremely important in lots of different things. So what you want to do is, what we're going to insert our date field, and we're going to go ahead and make a change there. So we're going to highlight that. Do not highlight your paragraph mark. You see I keep going just a hair too far. There we go. Make sure that your paragraph mark is not selected. Click backspace or delete, and we're going to get rid of that. Now, what we're going to do is we are going to go to, we want to actually find, to put in your placeholder, we're going to go to insert because we're going to be placing a new date in there. And what we're going to be doing is we want date and time. So I'm going to click on that. And when you're in business, I feel like you have all of these different options for dates, okay? Every business or place of doing business is going to have their way of doing things. But I always feel like using just your standard date where you spell out the month, the date, and the year is the best one to use. All right. So in this particular case, I would highlight August 24th, 2020, because that's today's date. Now, I'll just tell you, if you'll notice on yours calendars, I always like to put the day of the week on there, because in my situation, when you're looking at due dates, sometimes the number 24 doesn't really ring a bell that might be Monday. But if you see Monday written on there and you know it's Monday and you've got an assignment due on Monday, that's going to remind you what day of the week it's due, not just the date. So in that situation, I like to put the actual day of the week in front of the month. Another thing I want to mention, I used to work for an attorney, and his way of wanting the date was 24 August 2020. That's just, he stayed that way. He wrote the date that way, and for that particular gentleman, that particular attorney, that's the way he liked it, so that's the way I did it. So you have to accommodate to what it is that your company or job wants, needs, or desires. But I will say, in professional business letters and communication, this right here, August 24th, 2020, is the best format to use. So I have that clicked. The other thing that is extremely important is this little box right here that says update automatically. I would make sure above all else that that is clicked. So what happens is I'm going to click OK, and August the 24th, 2020 comes up there. Now, when we come back to class on Wednesday and we open this document, it is not going to say August the 24th. It will say August the 26th because it updated automatically to the date that the next time that you are working on it. So if you have that set, that'll be one less thing that you have to worry about to make sure, or to make sure have that checklist in your mind of things that you want to make sure that you do, that it's going to update automatically. So every time you open that document to work on it, the new date is going to show, all right, which is very important in all types of business, okay? Sometimes I'll go by the date when I look at stuff just to see when, or the electronic timestamp on things to see when it was that you actually did things. And of course, an electronic timestamp is going to give it, it's going to be accurate. But when you send out letters, emails, and communication, well, emails, yes, it's not always going to be true. All right, that's a whole lot of talk, but that one's really important that you should know. Okay, so that basically goes down to everything that you'll see on the next section. All right, so what I want to do here is I want to save my document. So I don't need to do file save as. When you save a document that's already been named, you can look up here at your title bar. You see that it is properly named, so I don't need to do save as. I just need to save it. And in that particular case, I'm just going to click my save. All right? Okay, now I'm going to try to do this. I want to actually stop my recording and I want to start again. I hope I don't lose you in that process, but I like to record each piece separately and individually so that students can, let's see, just look at one part at a time. I need to go up here. I want to stop